Hello, and welcome to my paranormal research. Today, we are going to be talking about the hauntings from the Stanley Hotel and also the Crescent Hotel. But we're going to start off with the Stanley Hotel first. The Stanley Hotel has a vortex, which a vortex is when you have two mirrors facing each other, creates an infinite reflection. The hotel was also built on quartz, and if you don't know, that quartz actually helps. It's like a trigger for ghosts to be at that location, or they might even use power from the quartz to go to the conservatory. But also, at the conservatory, there's a little girl named Lucy. She was 12, she's homeless, so she needed someone to stay. She came to this conservatory, and then she went into a closet to hide from the staff. But when the staff found her, they kicked her out, but it was also freezing temperatures outside. So, apparently, when they kicked her out, she froze to death. So, Lucy can only move lollipops if they're like on the sucker part. And she can also close doors. But in room 401, there is a cowboy that stares at you when you go to bed. But if you're a girl, he might even kiss you on the forehead. The Stephen King, the person that wrote The Shining, actually stayed at this hotel. And he had a nightmare of his kid getting chased by fire hose. And he also made that a part in the movie where his son, or where the little kid was riding on his tricycle, and then he went into the hallway, and then he stopped because there's two girls. That's a classic scene. Anyways, so he woke up from this nightmare, went on the balcony because, he needed to smoke a cigarette because he was stressed, I'm guessing. So, by the time he was done with that cigarette, he knew the lyrics of the movie, or not lyrics, the scripts of the movie. He knew who would act in the movie, what the actors would be doing, how the movie would play out. He knew all of that in 5 minutes. Since that was a short one, we're also going to be talking about the Crescent Hotel, which has a little more hauntings and a little more about how it was haunted. Okay, so the Crescent Hotel used to be owned by a guy named Norman Baker. He was the Purple Man. Everything he did was purple, so people called him the Purple Man. Even on the chimneys of the Crescent Hotel today are still purple. So, he came to this town saying he could cure cancer, and he was like on the radio, so he had some followers. So people actually believed him. So he made this placebo medicine, and he tested it on 5 people, and he had them sign a contract saying that the placebo medicine worked, but in reality, all those patients died. And so many people believed him that he was rich in, I think, a year. He had $1 million in a year. I don't know how much the placebo took, but, and then, yeah, he was a millionaire. He also had this part of the hospital where he would put people, if they weren't, if they were saying this placebo effect didn't work, and if it was, and they said it didn't work and they were dying, but in reality they all died. But the police were actually after him for something he did before he made this. We're not talking about that. Maybe in the next episode. I don't know. So when the cops found him, he had to spend a couple years in prison, or jail, not prison, and like a $10,000 fee. And once he did that, he walked away a millionaire. When this building was actually being made, there's a guy named Michael. He was 17, and he was like, he does competition for women. So when a girl walked by while he was doing it, he tried to impress her, doing a little Irish jig, considering he was Irish. But he ended up falling and landed on a beam and died, which is part of room 217. In 2019, they were digging, probably, I don't know why, but they were digging, and they found the cure buried in the dirt. So, if you ever get a tour on the Crescent Hotel, you'll hear all of this, even this part. But a doctor actually, well, not a doctor, a nurse came down to this hotel, got a tour, and one of those jars actually had body fat because Norman Baker would send his staff to go dissect the part that had cancer in it. So, those are all the cancer in a jar. But when Ghost Adventures actually came to this place, there's a locker in the room with all the jars, with more jars in the locker. But for some reason, the two on the locker was lighting up. So, there's no reason that light should be lighting up, right? That's what I thought. And the tour guide actually got stuck in the meat locker, or as some people call it, the cellar. So he was trying to make it smell nice, not like dead bodies, so he was spraying, and then he was backing up, and he hit the back on his door. Or no, he hit the back of the door on his back, and he was locked in there until other staff came in. So there's also this one time where there's these two little kids running out of a room, and and the tour guy said, "Are you okay?" And they said, "No, we're not okay. Our mom went in the bathroom, the door shut, and then the handle fell off. So no, we're not okay." So, was that just unluck, or is it paranormal? There's also this girl that fell out of the 4th story and landed into a garden. A police officer a couple years back was actually driving by, and garden. So he came over, asked the staff, tried to investigate and whatnot. And when he did that, all the staff said was, "You just seen the white girl in the mist." But if you're out there from 10:30 to 11,